Great Zimbabwe, African history erased. Pictures of African city Europeans refuse to believe Africans built. In the 11th century, deep in southern Africa, there was a massive stone city called Great Zimbabwe. No cement. No steel. Just perfectly cut granite blocks stacked so precisely that they still stand today. At its height, Great Zimbabwe was home to over 20,000 people, larger than London at the time. It controlled gold trade routes stretching to China, Persia, and Arabia. Archaeologists found Chinese porcelain and Arabic coins there. But when Europeans arrived centuries later, they were shocked. Instead of accepting the truth, they claimed Africans couldn't have built this. It must be Arabs. Or Phoenicians. Or lost Israelites. They literally rewrote history to erase African intelligence. Only in the 1900s did evidence make it undeniable. Great Zimbabwe was built by Africans, ancestors of the Shona people. An advanced civilization. Erased by lies. Hidden by racism. Recovered by truth. Africa didn't lack history. Africa's history was buried. The story of Great Zimbabwe is one of the most powerful examples of how archaeology can dismantle colonial myths. For decades, the site was treated not as a monument to African engineering, but as a mystery to be solved by looking anywhere, except the local population. The architectural marvel. The city is famous for its dry stone walling. This means the builders used no mortar or cement to hold the stones together. Instead, they shaped granite blocks so perfectly that gravity and pressure alone keep the structure standing nearly 1,000 years later. The most iconic structure is the Great Enclosure, which features the conical tower, a solid stone structure standing about 10 meters high, believed to symbolize a grain bin, representing the king's wealth and power. The outer wall, stretching over 250 meters in circumference, it is the largest ancient structure in sub-Saharan Africa. The parallel passage, a narrow, high-walled walkway that allowed the elites to move through the city unseen by the public. A global trading hub. Great Zimbabwe wasn't just an isolated fortress, it was the capital of a massive trading empire. Its influence was felt across the Indian Ocean. Gold and ivory, the city controlled the flow of gold from the interior to the coast. International artifacts, excavations uncovered Ming Dynasty porcelain from China, Persian pottery, and glass beads from India, proving that medieval Africa was deeply integrated into global trade networks. The mystery that wasn't. The refusal of European explorers like Karl Mach and Cecil Rhodes to credit the Shona people was purely political. By claiming the city was built by lost civilizations like the Queen of Sheba or Phoenicians, they used it as a justification for colonial rule, suggesting that Africans were merely squatters on land once ruled by others. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that archaeologists like Gertrude Cotton Thompson stood their ground, proving through stratigraphic evidence that the city was undeniably of indigenous African origin. Legacy today. Today, the city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the namesake of the modern nation of Zimbabwe, which means big stone houses, in Shona. The Zimbabwe bird, carved soapstone figures found at the site, is now the national emblem featured on the country's flag. Follow me for more real stories in history.